Hello, teaching YouTubers. So, this is Dr. Piddles here. I am finishing up my student teaching as a choir teacher, and I wanted to make a couple videos about how I use technology in the music classroom. So first up I have Avid Scorch here. So this is Avid Scorch. This is what it looks like in the iPad version, and this is like my bread and butter app for in the classroom. And what Avid Scorch does is essentially reads Sibelius files. And if you're unfamiliar with Sibelius, it's essentially just a music notation software program for your computer, where you can write your own music and it'll play it back, and it's just like a digital sheet music. So before I get into the program, let me show you how I first transport Sibelius files from my computer to the iPad. I use what's called Dropbox, and Dropbox is essentially just online storage program, where I download the app onto my iPad and I download the program onto my computer, and whatever I put into this program on my computer, it'll put it up on the internet where I can access it anywhere. So now once I've done that, I can pull it up on my iPad, and when I pull up Sibelius files, it says unable to view file. If you just go to the top here and click this little arrow, you can click open in Avid Scorch, and then that's how you transport it to the program itself. So let me show you what it looks like. This is all the different Sibelius files that I've made, and you can click on one and open it. So let me go ahead and do that for you. So it goes like that, poof, open here. It loads it, opening, poof, presto, goes open to this page. So this is Through the Eyes of Love, and as you can see here I have piano, that's supposed to be bass, tenor, alto, soprano, voice, and what's nice is it actually plays like Sibelius. As it's playing, you can actually go up here. See this little icon here? That's metronome. Now it's playing with a metronome. You can change the tempo by using the slider here. Oops. Slow it down. You can speed it up. Right? That's fun. I actually did a couple lessons on tempo using this and applying it towards our music. You can go down here. Let's see, when you hit the stop button, it pops up with this little arrow down here. Bleh. And it pulls up this mixer board, which is amazing. So as you can see, it's got piano, tenor, alto, soprano, that should be bass. And you can mute certain parts. You can play solo on certain parts. So if you want just certain parts to be sounded, which is nice because you can have just the piano playing. If you want just the accompaniment, you can have the accompaniment plus bass, or accompaniment plus bass tenor, accompaniment alto, whatever you want. So helps if you're doing just one part at a time and you want the thing to play just the alto part if you're working with just the altos. So that's very nice. You can change the volume of each part if you want to have just like the piano part being played softly against the alto, I don't know, whatever you want. Up here, there's this little symbol here with the two flats and the staff. You click that. This is where you can change the key, and so right now it's in C. Let's say if I want to change it up to D, poof, D, now it's in D. And then you go back to normal and just hit restore defaults. So you can select the key that you want. You can change it by interval, so if you want to go up or down by a certain interval, you can do that. I especially like this, and I especially notice that it's useful with like middle schoolers, like middle school boys whose voices are changing, and if there's a certain piece that you like but it's just not in the right range, you can actually just change the key, does it on the fly, and you can use that piece still and just do it in a different key so that your boys can sing it and it's still like musical and you can still use it for its musical value. So I let this tab open because I wanted to show you another thing that you can do. So you can choose guitar tab if you're in a band and the person doesn't know how to use sheet music. You can use tablature instead. You can select, like I was doing before, you can select any measure, any beat in the measure. You can click like beat 2 if you wanted to. Play it from there. You can change, see how it's selected here in blue, you can change the instrument. So you can change strings, you can use brass, you can use pitched percussion, woodwind, change the singers. So just gives you all kinds of options. If you're like a band teacher and you want a certain line to be played by a certain part, you can change that on the fly so that they can hear it being played back. So that's essentially everything that there is to show you. You can just swipe it like normal sheet music. which is nice. But let me show you how I use it in the classroom. So here's my iPad, and what I do is I pair it with this thing. And this is a Bluetooth speaker, and it's cool because it has this thing right here, this auxiliary output, which is like that headphone jack. So what I do is I plug this into a receiver, which then amplifies the signal from this Bluetooth speaker to speakers in the classroom, like big speakers. So it sends the signal from iPad, from my Avid Scorch program, sends that sound signal to this, which then in turn sends the signal from this to those big speakers. So I'm essentially just playing whatever's out of my iPad through speakers in the classroom, so it's being amplified. So it's really cool. So I can walk around with the iPad, and it's all wireless. I don't have to worry about cords or anything like that. And I can interact with the students. I can conduct. I don't have to be stuck behind a piano. I can engage with them, listen more effectively, without having this piano as my weight. That's like weighing me down. So that's nice. I actually don't use this battery-operated speaker anymore because it would die in the classroom sometimes, which can really mess up with your receiver. It also had a very weak preamp, which is like the signal that's coming out of here. So I'd have to turn the receiver up like decently high in order for it to get a decent volume out of it. So instead I bought a Bluetooth receiver, which I don't have with me right now, but it's just kind of like a router almost, wireless router, but it's Bluetooth. So it's just, there's always a Bluetooth signal in my classroom that I can pair with. So it sends a signal to that receiver instead, which is plugged into a wall outlet, so it has a better preamp signal, so I don't have to turn the receiver up so high. And it won't die, so I don't have to worry about it blowing out the receiver. So I now use that Bluetooth receiver as opposed to using a Bluetooth speaker. So that's Avid Scorch. If you have any questions, just leave the comments below. Alright, thanks.